do-it-yourself project I'm working on here. My gear shifter on my 2000 Ford Ranger broke. You see how thing's moving right there? It is stuck in reverse actually, and my key, it's not doing anything here as well. So I can't take my key out and it won't start or anything because it's stuck. My research has told me that my shifter tube and plunger is broken. I have a new part here. Have me some grease. And I've got all of the tools right there that I was told that I needed. First thing I'm going to do, since I'm going to be working around the steering column, I don't want to discharge the airbag or any of the electrical components. I'm going to undo my negative battery terminal here. Just using some pliers to loosen my nut and take that off so we don't have any electrical charge in our steering column. And my next step is I'm going to remove the steering column cover. There are 4 Phillips screws here in the bottom. I'm going to undo those. My next step is to remove 4 of these screws here. There's 1, 2 right here under my hood release, and 1 here by my left foot as well, to take this knee plate off. All right, now that I've taken those screws out, this should just pop off now. Should. There we go. So I've got my knee plate off. And next I will be removing the 5 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 8mm screws holding the metal plate on. My next step is to remove the 2 1 and 2 13mm nuts holding this U column on, and then back here, I don't know if you can see here or not, I've got a here 13mm, and here over here I got another 13mm holding the remaining of the weight of the steering column on. Pretty cool to see how all this stuff works. All right, now that I have undone the clamps holding the steering column up, the steering wheel will come all the way down, and we can see that absolutely that right there is where the catastrophic failure took place. The breakage of my gear shifter tube broke right in half. Looks like the plunger broke as well. We'll move on here. Next, I've got to remove this boot right here, and I will do that by pushing in on this clip here with my finger and lifting up on it. And then you'll notice here on the back side, I've got this wire, which is my overdrive wire. Got to be careful with that, so I'm fixing to undo that overdrive wire. So now I was able to get the boot slid up to the end. I got the little wire unhooked. I'm supposed to have some sort of little clip right here that appears to be missing. Shouldn't be a big deal, but I've got to knock this pin out now and remove the actual gear shifter. Set it to the side. Now that I've got the gear shifter removed, sitting at the side here, I'm going to take a T30 Torx bit to remove these 4 screws holding the shifter tube in place. All right, I've got the new shifter tube in place. I've put the last back here. There's 2 bolts on the back of the T30 screws. Put them on. Now I've got to put this little bracket here back on. Fixing to do that next step. Put this in place here, and then I'll have a bracket that goes here and one that goes here as well to secure that in place, and making good progress here. All right, I have my shifter tube secured back in place. All of my T30 bolts are tightened. Next, I'm going to take my clip that goes to my gear selector. I'm going to put it back in place here. And I am going to now take my my gear shifter, and I am going to reinsert it back into the hole here. All right, I've got my gear shifter back in place. I've just got to tap the pin back through. Tapping this pin back through the gear shifter arm. Alright, making sure it moves back and forth like it should. Alright. Alright, now that I got my boot back in place, I've got to get my steering column back on the studs from underneath and attach it. And we're almost finished up here. Alright, folks. Everything's put back together. Let's see if I did it correctly. It's in park. It's not moving. Reverse. And I'm moving backwards. Neutral. Going nowhere. Drive. And it's moving forward. Neutral. Reverse. And park. I think we have a winner.